Your reputation is formidable.
Still trending #1.
We're going up to that college to see my son.
I'm not any chosen one. Chosen ones are like Harry Potter, Neo, fucking Frodo.
Compound B's?
Sophomore year is gonna be lit.
Bees?
Welcome back to Compound B, a show about the boys. I'm Magnum Mills, and I'm back with the Soupdeucer to continue our look at Season 2 of Gen V, the primary spinoff from the boys thus far here. Soup, how are you doing tonight, man? I can't believe that it's almost here. It's been almost 2 years since we got new episodes of Gen V, but if a new season of Gen V is here, fall is coming, football is here, it's going to be a busy one, but I'm excited to revisit the universe of the boys.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And I love when the time of year when this comes out because it's like, you got kids that are going back to school and everything. Like colleges are, well, it's a little bit later than, they're going back like right now pretty much or soon. But either way, it's that time of year, man. It's, football's starting. It's autumn's coming, dude. Summer's pretty much over. And yeah, it's that whole turn of season right there, man. And I'm glad that Gen V is one of them shows that's involved in that. And the timing's perfect for it, just the way it's laid out. And yeah, it's nice to get back into the world of the boys, man. So I'm definitely highly anticipated. I was hoping they'd do another season of this, and sure enough, here we are. And it looks like it's tying into the boys pretty well, dude. They got a couple of knots there, tying knots. So looking forward to that as well, man.
They are. Hopefully they're not tying themselves up in knots. They're just, tying them around to do the nice circular knot or what have you. So looking forward to that. Thank you for checking out this episode of Compound B, a show about the boys. We are presented by Regular Dudes Watch Stuff. You can find our content wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. Find us on social media at Dudes Watch Stuff and on the web at dudeswatchstuff.com. Simple and easy to remember, just like the flaps, FLAPS. Follow, like, and please subscribe if you had fun. Please remember to hit the thumb. And you should know that this will be a full spoiler affair. All episodes of Season 1 of Gen V, plus all aired episodes of the first 4 seasons of The Boys, are fair game for discussion, as well as any podcast interviews, that kind of thing. We won't be talking about any possible set leaks, rumors, that kind of thing, but pretty much everything else is fair game for discussion. So if you don't know, now you know.
Now we know.
And knowing is half the battle.
Before we get into the trailer itself, let's just kind of dip our toes back into the water. A little bit of news, kind of reorienting ourselves. The new season is going to drop on Wednesday, September 17th, with the first 3 episodes. Then we get one weekly through the season finale on October 22nd. The season 2 premiere will premiere almost 2 years to the date of the season 1 premiere. That was September 29th, 2023. One thing to note here, Soup, we are switching from a Friday release to a Wednesday release. I am actually a pretty big fan of that, especially because I watch a lot of football. The Friday release was always a little bit awkward, especially that first week when they dropped the 3 of them. So overall, I think I am a big fan of the Wednesday release. I still don't love the 3 on the first week. I would like 2 on the first week. I think that would be optimal. But other than that, I'm a fan of the switch to Wednesdays. How about yourself?
Yeah, I definitely like to switch to Wednesday. I feel like there's not a whole lot other shit going on a Wednesday, that time of year. So it's a good day to have a show like this come out. It gives you time and it's midweek, so it's not, you don't have to worry about the weekend or if you're a football fan, it's not gonna, you got the wiggle room there, man, to be able to squeeze in an episode on a Wednesday night, I definitely like that. The 3 episodes at once is nice, but yeah, it's almost a little much. I'm with you. I would rather have the 2 and then weekly, but hey, man, at least it's not the whole fucking thing. So.
But it's an 8-episode season, so that is almost half of the season in the first week there. I know they're trying to kind of split the baby and appease the bingers and the weekly watchers. I like this better than having the last 2 dropped at once or something. So it is what it is. It's kind of the Amazon model. They've done it for most of their shows now, so I'm kind of used to it. It just makes for a kind of hectic first week there, especially if you're trying to review them and talk about them.
Yes. Yeah.
We have a plot synopsis for season 2 from Wikipedia. It is: after the 4th season of The Boys, Marie Moreau and the rest of her friends return to Godolkin after months of suffering, where a new dean trains Soups to be soldiers. On the brink of war between humans and Soups, the team discovers a program that could change everything. We've got some new casting notes that we should discuss here. Hamish Linklater is joining the cast as Dean Cypher. And Soup, do you think he could be a better villain or a better antagonist, whatever you want to call it, than Dean Shetty? She was, a human out for revenge, but I think they tried to go with the the antagonist you could sympathize with. She was pissed at the Soups because her kids and her kid and her husband was on the plane that Homelander let go down. So that was fine, but I like the idea that Dean Cypher's coming in here. He appears to be a Soup, and he appears to be like all business and kind of a real menacing dude.
He can be he seems like he's going to be a menacing force, as you say, man.
Yeah, dude sticks a knife through his hand, like while looking someone else in the eye. That's a
He just
power
has
move
that
right
look
there.
too, and the way his delivery on even shit that we hear in the trailers or whatever. You can tell he's going to be the bad guy.
Yeah, again, it'd be really surprising if they did a little bit of a rug pull and kind of switch gears on that. So I like that. I think that they needed something more than that. I guess in season 1 it was more about the team, the gang, whatever, turning against each other a little bit. But I like that. Obviously it might take a bigger force from the outside to get them to come back together or something. It seems like this dude could pull it off. Could also note here that Sean Patrick Thomas as Polarity has been upgraded to a main cast member. This is a weird one. Obviously, if Chance Padormo was still with us, I think he probably would have died at some point of this season to kind of be motivation for Andre. He was in a coma, but obviously now they had to rewrite the season. So he is not only up and out of the coma, but he is now in the main cast. We also have Ethan Slater joining the cast. He'll be a recurring character. He's Thomas Godolkin. That is the leader of the Project Odessa. We see it referred to in the trailer and the teaser. And he's also the founder of Godolkin University, along with Frederick Vaught. This is a big one here. I think we're going to be getting some flashbacks that might explain some of the origins of this kind of thing. And it's very possible that Project Odessa is the kind of thing that will carry over into The Boys season 5, much like the virus from season 1 of Gen V did. And then we have some confirmed appearances from various Soups. Most notably, Aaron Moriarty will be here as Starlight, Annie January, Chase Crawford as the Deep, Valerie Curry as Firecracker, Nathan Mitchell as Black Noir, and kind of a random one here, Zach McGowan as Dognot. You might remember way back in the season 4 premiere of The Boys when they were auditioning kind of or going through a process where they were picking new people to be in the 7. He was one of the people who came up, on the list there.
Hold up. I thought he ate a dog.
He ate out a dog. It's a big difference.
But I remember that very, very seriously because he looked a little bit like our own Soupdeucer. So just a nice one to come back around.
I remember I put it next to him. I was like, holy fuck,
There I was. Mother of God. There I am. Holy fuck.
Freaked me out. So okay. I missed that. I didn't see that. So I'm looking forward.
Yeah, he was in the teaser, but you couldn't see him as well. But he was kind of running around on all 4 legs like a dog. Like I remember Charlie and Mac describing Dolph Lundgren doing when they wrote their movie script, The Sixth Sense or The Seventh Sense or whatever, The Smell of Fear. Like, yeah, it's a very good Sunny episode, but very interesting, guy to come back. I remember when we talked about that, I'm like, I know this guy. He was in like Black Sails, a bunch of shows. He was kind of like a well-known guy to just have as a picture. And so it's kind of nice that they're paying that off here. So interesting to see how that goes. We saw him in the trailer. So, and obviously, Super, it wasn't you, otherwise you would tell us unless you signed one of those crazy NDAs from Uncle Jack, attorney at lawyering.
Yeah. No, for a minute there, I was thinking, man, did these guys find a picture of me somewhere and just throw it up there being like, hey, here's a random picture of somebody. So I thought something might be fishy, but come to find out that is an actual dude. And for some reason in that picture, I don't know, I haven't seen it in any live action or anything, but in that picture I put it next to my picture, like with, it looked kind of.
Yeah, if you're watching on YouTube, you'll see that there are definitely, there's some resemblance. There's some resemblance. Let's get into the trailer. I think before we start, we have a clip.
Marie, you could be the most powerful Soup to ever come out of Godolkin.
More powerful than Homelander. I need answers.
You want to know what Odessa means? This is how you find out.
Super. Right at the top of the trailer, we were talking about it. We get the scene with Dognot. He kind of comes from Maria. It looks like she's in a motel, and she gets saved by Starlight.
Oh, so that's who that is. Okay,
that's who that is, dude. That's Dognot, spelled like Dogknott. Also, great name for a metal band, I feel.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So I did see him in the trailer then. Okay, that dude, right.
You did not. Again, you probably didn't freeze. I went through kind of looking at stills and everything, so it goes very quickly. They don't do a lot of long cuts in this one. Starlight basically gives a setup here. She tells Marie, like, she needs her help. She's got to go back to school because Vaught is restarting this Project Odessa that was overseen by Thomas Godolkin. Olkin, mentioned that it looks like we're getting flashbacks here, and I think there is a chance this is actually going to wind up connecting with Vought Rising. That's the prequel that's going to be set in the 50s. It's starring basically Soldier Boy and Stormfront, Aya Cash and Jensen Ackles, as we've seen on the primary Mothership show. And Starlight needs Marie to shut that shit down. Soup, I know you don't like being spoiled, so yeah, they did ruin the fact that Starlight would be appearing, but my guess is she's in the first episode, the last episode, and maybe not at all in the middle other than being on the phone or something like that. If that's the case, that's probably not that big of a deal to spoil, right?
You know what? I'm okay with that spoiler, actually. It's not, I mean, it was cool to see in the trailer because now it's like, I want to see characters from the boys in the show also. I like the crossover aspect of this shit, man. So that's not ruining it for me. We also got a glimpse of Black Noir. That's not really ruining it for me either. I like the idea that they're going to be in there. So, now if we get a surprise cameo from one of the other ones, great, but knowing that doesn't bother me too much, whether or not, depending on what they do, we'll see.
Yeah, it kind of had to be Starlight too, because again, most at the end of the season 4 of the boys, the majority of the characters either kind of MIA or imprisoned or somehow
she was able to
unavailable.
Cruise
right,
off,
she's one of the few that was kind of out there and on the board, so it makes sense that she would kind of appear here as a chess piece, moving stuff around. Probably ultimately setting stuff up for season 5 of the boys.
Another thing I like is the timing between the two shows. If they're taking place at the same time like that, that's fucking cool.
Yeah, this feels like it's about 6 months or so after, they said months in the synopsis, so I'm assuming that's like 3 to 6 months after the season 4 finale of the boys. So,
right.
I think the timeline more or less tracks there. We get a couple of shots of Sam in the trailer. He is definitely, all twitchy. We did get the shot in the teaser of him looking like he was going back home. There was a couple talks between him and at least his hallucination of his brother, of Golden Boy, last year, kind of talking about his parents. He's got some issues there. So I'm pretty sure we're going to get that. I wonder who they will cast. That's, Sam is obviously, he is the Charlie Kelly of the Gen V, right? He's the wild card because he is a crazily powered up. He was kind of okay in season 1 when Emma had the connection, and then he kind of, just basically gave into his rage and, just wanted to get revenge against people. So he had Kate basically take away all this shit. But my guess is he's going to have he's going to be tempted to switch sides more or less. I think that's going to happen a lot this season. That's kind of how the boys always works, though.
Yeah, I mean, I like there's one thing I'm really good at is the surprises, the element of surprise and shit. No matter what you get out of these trailers, there's going to be, an element of surprise, and I like that, man. I also like, as you have behind you right now, the real trippy, weird out Sam vision, which is what I think.
He does the puppet thing. Remember, he had like his big fight scene in season 1.
This, is in the show. Whenever this happens in the show, I bet you that's going to be cool, But yeah, man, I think he's a bit of a loose cannon, in a way, but very important, and it's just got to be used the right way, but very hard to control,
Yeah, because we really haven't even seen him like wreck shit either, but he definitely he was going into like this kind of, the puppet land kind of thing when he was weirding out. I think that's when Jason Ritter showed up, I remember, and I think the Deep, and then even I think it even happened when he was having sex with Emma. Like they went full like puppet sex, which I think was actually in the season 1 trailer, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. And if you're into that kind of thing, check out Team America. They have a good scene in Team America with the puppet banging.
Yeah, that is very good, as is Happy Time Murders, right? Well, that's not really sex as much, but yeah, same. If you want to see puppets, like in explicit situations, there you go.
There's your big 3 right there.
What a Mount Rushmore. We'll figure out what the 4th is. Get a little bit more stuff from the Dean. Emma says that he was at Elmira. That's the rehabilitation center they were all at. It basically looked like a prison. We saw that in the teaser. And badass dude just stabs a knife right through his hand. There's no blood, so don't quite know exactly what his deal is. And he's going to put a chick's hand in a blender. Like, that's definitely, they're doing some work to like set shit up like this is a bad hombre.
Yeah, for sure, man, for sure. He's definitely pulling the Mama Fratelli thing with the blender and
yeah, I don't even want to. That's bad, dude. That's up there, dude. That would be, yes. That's makes me not want to even it makes me want to throw out my blender. I don't want to take a chance of that possibly happening. That's not a good way to go. And then apparently he's trying to, recruit Marie more or less. There was a scene in the teaser between the two, which seemed like he was welcoming her back to school, and it seemed very tense between the two. But here, Marie says that Cypher believes that she's his weapon, so maybe she's doing a little rope-a-dope or, a double agent kind of thing. He also tells Marie she could be the most powerful Soup ever. I don't know if she could be more powerful than Homelander. That's one thing I have a problem with on the boys and in Gen V. They're inconsistent with how powerful people are. Everyone's kind of invincible until they're not. We thought Newman was like that tough, but then, Butcher took her out fairly easily after all that. And she seemed,
But he had to be,
he
also had to be like souped up to do it,
Right. No, yeah. He had all the extra, like the temp V with the other V and the tumor and all that. He's definitely up there. But we never got the idea that Newman could take out Homelander, so I'm just curious as what the difference is there. Like, was it just training? Like maybe Newman was just never trained that way, or maybe Maria's something a little something extra going on in the mix.
Maybe it is, it's like the weird powers that they have, they can kind of understand a little bit better than somebody who doesn't have them can understand. Like, kind of like, the levels of vampire, they say they get stronger as they age and shit, it still is a very loose, unspecified how powerful is that fucking vampire, or how powerful is that soup. I think it's kind of hand in hand with like the looseness of or how vague it is, until it's like, oh shit, well, comes time to do it, then you either win or you lose, man,
It seems like she's leveling up. It looks like she bursts an animal. She's kind of lifting Jordan up at one point, or lifting a couple of people up. Tossed somebody, it looks like Noir. So she's come a long way for Emma to just do the blood ropes in season 1. She had the little kind of like the little blood bullets in the finale or whatever, but it's nice to see her kind of expand her use of her powers here.
Yeah, I think it's kind of cool, and there's a lot of potential there that you wouldn't think about as far as power, blood powers. But if you can, the shit she's doing, it's pretty sick, dude.
It does look like at some point they get out of the rehab thing and Marie bails on Jordan and Emma. And that's where we get the scene in the teaser where Kate opens the van and Jordan and Emma are in the back. And that's where Starlight goes to find Marie. So she kind of apologizes to everyone for leaving them. She also kind of, I guess, tells them everything that Starlight told her. And her and Jordan are still doing the nasty, which is, very interesting because Jordan is, the gender bender. So I'm very curious to see how they kind of lean into that. And that's something that could be kind of fun, really.
Dude, if you're into going both ways, you do it with the same fucking person.
Right, that's a weird, I say lean into the kind of the weirdness of it. I think that could be kind of fun, if you're into it. I mean, rock and roll. And another thing that seems fun, we saw it in the teaser as well. That shot of Emma going full Little Cricket and basically getting used as a beer pong ball and getting thrown into beer. I have to say, I've been covered in beer before. It's not really something you'd want to swim in. It is very kind of sticky and nasty.
Yeah, it's better than it's better than a Zambuca milkshake, I suppose. But
I don't even want to think what it would take to fill a tub up or something with Zambuca.
But I think that's cool, and I like that they're throwing the college life aspect in a little bit.
Yeah, I want more of that. We saw just a teeny bit of it in season 1, but I'd love to see these kids party like crazy and everything. I mean, think about what normal college kids try to do just under the power of alcohol. Imagine the crazy shit Soup's trying. It might get too much if you did it every episode, but I'd like a little bit more of it. Like, what does a Soup fraternity look like? You know what I mean? Or there's got to be some fun.
Yeah, give us a little college life, dude.
Yeah, like the Soup football teams or something. I don't know. There's got to be some interview.
Well, there was the one sport that they were doing. That reminds me. You think we're going to see Golden Boy again?
I don't think so, and that's more just because I haven't seen Patrick Schwarzenegger's name anywhere, and I think he said in an interview he wasn't returning. Would it surprise me?
It would be a flashback if we did.
Right, or Sam has a vision of him again, how he kind of imagined him. So it's not impossible. I don't think so, but it would probably be one scene like that again. Maybe a flashback when he goes to see his parents. I guess that could be in play. And we also see a Big Cricket again. It looks like she's in an office or a locker room or something like that. Just extra big. Again, you can't probably overdo it. You probably only get one per season, but it was very fun last time when she woke up in the pool or whatever, and she was gigantic. I think that's fun. It just again probably just can't overdo
and there was all that Tic Tacs and shit. They're doing kids with their phone, they're filming it and shit.
The TikTok, because they couldn't remember kind of what happened. We do know that Emma's mom will be showing up. We see her with Jordan parents at some kind of ceremony that's going on. We get more of the fighting that we saw in in the teaser, it looks like they literally have like an octagon, like they're forcing the students to fight each other as part of their training. We get more of the big dude, not very much, but you remember the big bald dude with the hammer, looking like the mountain from Game of Thrones, but all V'd up. That he was in the teaser, so they're definitely going hard on some of that stuff. I would like to see a little more kind of hand-to-hand action than the kind of at a distance, because that's what you get when you get like blood powers, magnet powers, mind powers. You know what I mean? It helps the budget, but it's it's not as much kind of fun hand-to-hand stuff. But most of that went to Jordan last year, and they did good at it. But I'd like to see a little bit more of that. And we do see Marie and the gang kind of looking at Andre's medical file. I don't know how they're going to bring the actor's death into the show. Obviously, it looks like he's going to be killed somewhere, and that's going to be the motivating factor for Polarity. So I give him credit for making lemonade out of lemons here. Unfortunately, we lost the actor. It was a motorcycle accident. Nothing you could do, but it looks like they're really kind of leaning into it here. So I hope
I think
it all works out.
Polarity's character. It's going to end up developing Polarity's character a lot, and I think it's going to be a major character. And I also think, I don't know if it's time for predictions yet, but since it's on my brain, I don't forget. I also think that he's going to do something very profound and heroic, and then end up like not making it through the season. Like someone will kill him, because I think.
He's on a mission, dude, and he has no. I don't know that he has a sister. Maybe that would probably be the only thing I'm trying to remember. I can't remember if there's any other siblings, but I think the mom is gone. Like it, you know what I mean. So I think he's pretty much, going to just try to avenge his son, and he was already kind of like. Kind of wavering against Vaughn, I think a little bit one way or the other at the end of season 1, especially if they're the one that kind of, the V causes seizures or whatever from using his powers. So there's a lot of reasons for him to be pissed off. So excited to see how that goes. Obviously Kate can make people do shit. So that always adds a degree of difficulty when it comes to kind of predicting shit when you see in the trailer, because it could be her forcing people to do shit. I like that aspect of it, but again, they can't overuse it. I don't want too many people to be secretly working against people that they don't know or whatever. You know what I mean? That works in small doses, but if you overdo it, then it just is it becomes like season 2 of Westworld or something.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely not something you want to overuse, man. It's hard to. It's a tough one, really, man, because if you're under the, one of those things, like somebody's under the power of mind control or whatever, then they're not really. Yeah, I don't know, man.
Mind control's right up there with time travel. Once you kind of open that bag of worms, you got to be really careful with it, or then everything becomes it's like Bill and Ted. Then we'll just go back before the show and and add a sandbag or whatever. You know what I mean? And then it just becomes that kind of game.
Shit, man. There's the Naked Gun, man. It was mind control to kill the queen or whatever. That was the whole premise of the
kill the queen.
A player's gonna do it, or what? But see, that kind of thing is sketchy.
The seventh inning stretch. Whatever. It's used to use the Enrico Palazzo clip. I'll take.
Hey, it's Enrico Palazzo.
Enrico Palazzo. Oh god, I miss Leslie Nielsen. And also miss Black Noir. Fun seeing him here. He always kind of comes, fuck shit up. We get the deep, just a similar shot we saw in the teaser. He's in like a hood or something. I'm guessing this is like a fraternity, secret society or something like that, which seems perfect for someone kind of extra, self-absorbed and douchey like the Deep. Of course he would be like, balls or fins or gills deep, whatever you want to call it in that. So I think that could be a fun little runner.
Yeah, for sure. I'd be down with that.
Yeah, they do a good job of keeping the Deep useful, even if he's not near a body of water. And I love that, Chance Crawford is just kind of down, dude. He just he's willing to just humiliate himself as the Deep. It's always a good time.
Yeah, I've always said this, even from early days in the Boys and everything, and every season I say it. Or I want to see more of him using his power. I want to see more water action, dude. More of it. We got a couple things, over the years, but more of that shit.
Not the one with the big whale sequence. I think in season 2 is about it, because from what I understand, it's just really expensive.
I'm sure it is.
So that's why, you don't. I think even the Aquaman movie, they didn't really do any water, and it's all CG, and it's kind of rough. So my guess is, one every other season or something. But we are kind of due for a big deep set piece. So my guess is that's probably season 5 of The Boys. I like the little outro of the trailer. They're just kind of talking about the Chosen One narrative, just mostly because they land on fucking Frodo. That's just wonderful alliteration.
Yeah, I do think Neil was the best of the 3, but yeah, fucking Frodo.
Yeah, just Neil and Bob, dude. Neil and Bob. But it all comes back around to Ford Fairlane at the end of the day. Again, mentioned that there was the teaser before. A couple things in there that weren't here. We saw Firecracker there. Little Cricket was like doing her thing, going into a pipe. Then we had a Soup like breathing fire, lighting shots on fire. That goes back to some of that college stuff. I think that could be fun. We saw Sam going back home. That could be a big thing. And also, one of the main things was the whole fact that on campus now they're basically like segregating the Soups and the humans, kind of. Like the humans have to wear like tags and go through separate entrances and everything. Didn't get any of that in the trailer. One thing we did get in the trailer, didn't mention, Soup, it looks like we're getting a dance sequence. I don't know if it'll be a full-on musical episode, but it sure as hell looks like we're getting a full-on dance sequence.
Looks like we're getting a dance sequence for sure, dude. And it doesn't look like, yeah. I don't know what that's going to be, but I feel like anytime there's something like that, there's going to be some weird like mass violence or something at the end of it. So we'll see.
Yeah, they did it in season 3 a little bit with when Frenchie and Kamiko were in the hospital there. They had like 2 or 3 little musical numbers. So I don't even know if there was really a reason for it. I forget. Like, I think Kamiko was listening to music on her headphones or something, and she kind of imagined it. I'm trying to remember that kind of deal. So, it's not that hard to throw
Oh
a little
yeah,
dream
yeah.
sequence
What
or
was that
something.
song? Dude, the song. What the fuck was the song?
It was from like a Disney musical or something like that. I kind of remember. It was like maybe a French cover of a Disney song or something. That was like midway through season 3.
Yeah, it's been a hot minute.
When
I know what
Kamiko
you're
had to
talking
go to the
about.
hospital. Yeah, I rewatched that not too long ago. It's definitely, when you're it's I don't want to say I skipped it, but I don't also pay that much attention when rewatching the musical sequence. I think that about wraps it up for the trailer. I think we're going to come back and do just a kind of a short little preview joint with some predictions, so we don't need to get too much into that now. Is there anything you want to throw out there, Soup, as far as just any light predictions?
Other than what I already said about polarity, I think that's gonna be, kind of a main thing. I don't know if it'll end the season, but it's gonna be like one of those big events, and he's gonna do something that's gonna end up, I don't think we're gonna see him in a future season. I think he's gonna end up dying at his own, doing something heroic or whatever, for the cause or his cause or whatever it is. I think that's kind of the play, and I think it'll be a big plot point too. Other than that, I don't know, man. I mean.
All right, I have one prediction and one question. I will say as a prediction that Soldier Boy shows up again, but this time it's in like a flashback.
Okay.
Back with Good Oaken when they're doing the Project Odessa stuff. I think maybe we see Soldier Boy in a flashback. And here's the question: do you think we're going to get Homelander showing up again on the show? I am going to go with yes.
I'm gonna go with yes too. Yeah, I'm gonna go with yes too. I think we see him probably at maybe in the last episode or shit, maybe even midway through or something. But whatever. I think he's gonna get. I think that he's gonna make an appearance at some point.
I am with you on that. So, all right, we're seeing the teaser. We've seen the trailer. Where are you at on the hype meter as far as season 2 of Gen V right now? On a scale of 1 to 10, where are you on the hype meter?
Dude, I'm hyped. I'm 10. I'm fucking ready for Gen V, dude. I mean, this show is great. Any boy's universe, diabolical this or diabolical is great, but I'll put it the weakest of the 3. But yeah, if you do some more of them, maybe you can move up. Bring it back.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Anyway,
it's been a little long time since Diabolical, but I was a
bring a
huge
couple
fan
of
of
those back.
those.
Yeah,
So.
they're cool. But yeah, no. So Gen V is I've been highly anticipating, looking forward to this, and I know after this it won't be too long until the new season of The Boys comes out as well. So nice to be back on the train, dude.
That's what we think. We're hoping for June 2026, but if it wouldn't shock me if it winds up being like Christmas 2026. So hey, I'm going to give it a little room to grow. I'm going to go 9.5 on the hype meter, just to give it a little bit room to grow still, because we're not quite there yet. We're getting close though. We are.
Right now, well, I mean, we're pretty much fully hyped. I'm fully hyped.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much more room left at the end, dude. You have to be careful to tuck it back pretty soon.
Yeah.
Don't want to rub it up inside your armor. Thanks again for checking out this episode of Compound B, a show about the boys. We are presented by Regular Dudes Watch Stuff. Find our content wherever you get your pods and on YouTube. Find us on social media at Dudes Watch Stuff and on the web at dudeswatchstuff.com. Nice and easy to remember, just like the flaps, FLAPS. Very crucial to our success. Follow, like, and please subscribe. If you had fun, please hit that thumb. I'm Magnum Mills. Here with the Soupdeucer. Jamie G is somewhere out in the ether, on the ether, hopefully going to be with us for this season and for the season preview. We're not sure about that yet, but we are damn sure we had a good time in this episode of Compound B. We hope you did too.
Yeah, and you know, the B in Compound B stands for becoming.
Oh,